Hi friends, thanks for joining me today. So this is just a roundup really of latest news, catching up with some acquisitions and a bit of painting and basing I've been doing as well. First thing I want to mention is the new Innsmouth Gold anthology, When Shadows Creep, is out now. This is 9 stories set in London, and the stories all have a Lovecraftian theme, and it's London across the ages, from sort of Roman times through to the modern day. As you see, it's quite a thick tome. Now, 9 stories, only 9 stories, you might say, but yes, they're all rather long and very good stories as well. I really wanted the authors this time to be able to spread out a little bit and get their teeth into stories, and they're really not disappointed. So that's available from all the usual outlets. If you're into your Lovecraftian fiction, then please do check it out. I think you're going to enjoy it. I mentioned painting and basing, and this has mostly been for my Pendraken 10mm figures that I bought recently, getting those ready for the Fantastic Battles campaign. So I've based those. Now I've used my usual method here, which is using the vinyl floor tiles that I think I get these in B&M, of course, where else? I find that these work really well. They're a nice thickness. They're adhesive on one side, so it's just a matter of cutting those out. 40mm square bases for Fantastic Battles, a drop of glue, and the figures go on. Then I'll coat those with PVA and dip them in the grass, and there we go. There's the finished products, painted and based. We've got some bears there, some rhinos, scorpions, ogres, and I think my favourite out of this lot are the gargoyles. I really like these. So they're all ready to go now. They're no doubt going to be making an appearance in the Bane Wars campaign, which is currently running, as we are just starting to get into contact now. In fact, we had our first battle just this last week, which of course I have put up here on the channel. In terms of shopping, I've got some more figures on order, a couple of figures, and a very nice ruined church that I saw when I was browsing through the internet, which is going to be a centerpiece for my fantasy skirmish game, because the initial scenario for that is set in an old graveyard. But we're also looking at using that for the game at the Innsmouth Literary Festival, which is coming up in September. We're going to be doing a big tabletop raid on Innsmouth. So if you can't have a rundown, dilapidated 1920s church in Innsmouth, then I don't know what you can have. Hopefully that'll be turning up in the next few days. Along with, I was browsing on eBay as well, and I saw a couple of MDF samurai buildings. I've also got those on order. You may have seen the recent Samurai Skirmish game. We're going to be expanding on that in the future, tweaking the rules, or maybe combining a few different rule sets. So that's going to be useful for that. I mentioned the Samurai Skirmish games there, and if you have been following that playlist, you'll know I ordered some figures from Dixon's. Unfortunately, they didn't arrive in time for our last game, but they are here now. And it's a group of 18 Ronin, plus some assorted samurai figures as well. So they come nicely packaged. And yeah, let's have a closer look at these. So the figures came packaged in this rather compact box. Feels quite nice and heavy. Dixon miniatures, as I said. And we've got on the top Samurai Commander. And a samurai. Very nicely detailed. These are 25mm, by the way, and I'd say these are old school 25. The fine figure sizes vary a lot these days. I think, do they call it heroic scale or something? Ashigaru. Okay, so we've got 3 or 4 of those, 4 of those as a unit. The only thing I find with old figures is the bases are quite small, but I'll put them on other bases anyway. I'll use the same method as the 10mm, that floor tile method, because then I can just cut bases out to the size and shape that I want. And then we start on our Ronin. These are real sort of 7 samurai stuff, right? Nice poses. and all in a variety. I suppose, would you call this casual wear for the samurai? Sports casual, perhaps. Rather imposing archer. And that one's holding a spear from the looks of it. I presume all the separate weapons are going to be in the bottom of the box. Another archer. Tiny little bit of flash to clean up on these, but certainly nothing major. That's an interesting pose. Good characterful faces. There's two more rather stern looking chaps. And final two with the sword and the spear. I have to say I'm increasingly wary of spears on figures these days, whatever they're in, whether they're plastic or resin or metal. You know, just how do you store the figure and move it without the spear getting bent? Oh, there's a final one tucked away. Again, see, that naginata's a little bit bent. Oh, there's still more. Wow, they keep on coming. He looks like a sort of leader type, perhaps. And the final two. Again, very nicely detailed. And there's no spears in the box, so I presume for those Ashigaru and similar, I'm going to have to make my own spears. Well, that's, you know, easy enough to do with a bit of wire or whatever. I would have thought they would have come with the figures, but there we go. So overall, that's a really nice set of figures. I'm pleased with those. So I shall get to undercoating, painting and basing those over the next couple of weeks. Now, while I was browsing for samurai figures, I found another site that was unfamiliar to me. The name has gone out of my head at the moment, but I'll put a link up below. And a very nice range of fantasy figures. And they also had some 1920s cultist and Deep One and Innsmouth types as well. So I ordered one or two of those up just to have a look. If I like these, then we'll be getting some more for that Raid on Innsmouth game. And a couple of fantasy figures as well that caught my eye. So let's have a closer look at those as well. And we've got a lovely sort of slug monster there, I guess you'd call that. I thought this is the sort of thing I can use in sort of 28mm and 10mm, you know. It's just a question of scale, isn't it, really? But yeah, I like the look of that. We'll paint that up a suitably horrible and putrid colour. And then there are a few figures that caught my eye as well. Sometimes, you know, it's just a pose or something like that catches your eye. And let's look first at our Innsmouth resident. There we go. So these are on slot bases. Crooked Dice. There we go. I should have known. They're quite a well-known name, aren't they? So yeah, very nice. Definitely got the Innsmouth look. And armed with a lovely sort of fishing spear. Again, you've got that issue of spears bending slightly when they're metal. But yeah, he really looks the part, so I'll be getting some more of those for our Raid on Innsmouth game. So what else have we got? This one, I was just reading some Elric stuff the other week, and I thought this is quite a nice Elric figure. I think it's titled as like Doomed Hero or something like that. But yeah, I mean, Elric can be quite sort of elf looking, I suppose. So yeah, I thought that was a very nice character figure for the 28mm skirmish game. Now his sword arm is separate there, so that's going to need sticking on, of course. Looks like no, I think that will just fit in fairly closely. Again, that other issue of long metal weapons for storage and bendability, durability, but we'll see how that goes. And then another two characters that caught my eye. We've got a female fighter, very nicely done. A little bit of flash on that, needs cleaning up again. And there we go, look, the bent sword. I don't know about the broken sword. I've certainly got the bent sword. Let's straighten that up. But yeah, very nice. And well, I like this one. I think it's quite sort of Shakespearean, you know, with the pose and the dagger and that medieval outfit. So it could be a thief, could be a magic user, could be just a general nasty piece of work. Who knows? But yeah, another nice character figure, I thought, that one. So that's the update for now as far as shopping and a bit of painting goes. I've still got some 10mm to paint. I've still got a lot of my Fantasy 28mm to paint as well, though I've been making inroads on those. Now, speaking of which, you may remember a while back I bought some very nice zombies and some Deep One figures, or they were Builders Piranha Men. Now, I've had a bit of a problem. I painted these up and based them, and when I based them, just the usual method of PVA on the base, then putting the scatter on and putting them back in this handy tray to let them dry off and everything else. I found when I came to look at them, one or two of them I can easily take out the tray. Several of them seem to be stuck solid though, like that one there, can't shift it. Now, of course, I thought, oh, I know what I do. I'll get a craft knife and I'll just see if I can carve around the edges a bit. Perhaps the glue has overrun or something. And of course, in doing that, I managed to snap one of the figures off at the ankles, unfortunately. So I've got to try and not only get the base free, but repair that at some point. I do find with some types of resin figure in particular, they do seem quite fragile. Just this week, when moving some other figures from tray to tray, I had two swords break off. So now I've got a couple of characters standing there like that. So I'm going to have to look at repairing those somehow, or perhaps we'll just say they've got a magic invisible sword or something. So if anyone else has been as daft as me and managed to stick their figures to the tray, do let me know how you got round that, how you resolved that. I don't know, perhaps some sort of solvent on the glue or whatever. As I say, they are quite fragile, so I really don't want to put too much pressure on the figure. There we go, one of those little things that comes up every now and again. Alright, so that's it for today, but there is more shopping imminent, I'm sure, because this weekend I'm popping over to Milton Keynes for Campaign, which is a 2-day event, and next weekend I might be popping up to Newark as well for the big show up there. I'm just trying to sort out some arrangements for that at the moment. So of course I'll do a report on each of those, and no doubt I will be doing a bit of shopping, so I'll let you know what I turn up there as well. Okay, that's all for today then. Thanks very much for joining me. Thanks again to all those who send in comments and questions, and welcome to our new subscribers as well. I've noticed we've been picking up a few new subscribers this month. So thanks very much for following the channel. It really is greatly appreciated. I'll see you next time.